Say it again. Please start again.
It crashed the system.
Crash this current system.
Yes.
Okay. And then go on.
Yes. Then have an interim government. If they are serious about the future of our children, of our, the future generation.
How is this interim government to be composed?
Simple. We can use the
Chief Justice.
Yes.
The Attorney General is a politician, incidentally.
Well, whatever
and it belongs to a political
party. The
party.
thing is that we need to, first of all, reconcile the nation. Because
what do you want the interim government to do?
Reconciliation first.
Reconciliation?
Yes. Because
how long?
We can take, within 6 months, we can do all of this.
The question is, after the 6 months of interim
then what happens?
What happens? No, what kind of system should come in place?
No. Within this system, within the 6 months, we are doing reconciliation, because we cannot have a peaceful election in 2019 without reconciling, making peace with every Nigerian, so that we can be united.
When do you propose this should kickstart?
Today.
Mr. Naji, are you in agreement with him?
I have a fairly different view. I am old enough, and as a realist, to know that there is this word used in Igbo land, they call it Madukanaya. All problems are man-made, most of the problems.
Human problem.
If we have a pot of soup here, made for how many of us? 5 of us, with 5 pieces of meat. The presumption is that each person will eat and take 1 piece. But you will see that there will be a fight, because the other person, one person who feels stronger, or maybe feeling that is the strongest, will feel that he has an entitlement for the 3 pieces, and there will be problem. But that was not conceived when the soup was being prepared. I don't know whether, and that is at the root of the problem of this country. Peace is not in the air to be downloaded like a software, something from the internet or software. You understand? The problem we have with all the different political contraptions is not that the system cannot work. It is that the people working the system can wreck it. 1, for motivation to do so because of their selfish interest. 2, for gross incompetence in how to manage that system, because it is completely alien to them, but they are pretending, trying to measure up. But you can't give what you don't have. So the point is that there is no way this thing that is being broached now can be carried forward in the life of this government. It is a diversionary process. If it is insistent on the part of the proponent that they should conclude it now, that means there's something that is being pursued.
No, Honorable Oyewefe already said that they don't see it going concluded.
Very well.
Because even when the National Assembly, even if the current National Assembly is able to conclude this, its own part of it, it still has to go to the 36 states.
Process
it still has to go to the 36 states.
Yes,
there are many provisions, there are many amendments that have been sent to the states.
Yes.
I remember speaking to the Deputy Senate President, and many of those amendments are still at the states. They haven't come back.
Don't be confused that constitutional amendment, if the certain individuals or group that are interested in doing it have the leverage, they can do it in 2 weeks.
Yes.
In this country. The issue is that there was this Jesse the Body Ventura. He later became a governor of America. I mean, one of the states in America. He was a wrestler.
Yes.
He said that he was the leader of the immoral minority. You know, in their boastful ways in those days. But the moral minority will always lord it over the moral majority. And that's what is happening everywhere. The few bad people are highly mobilized, very articulate, and internally coordinated. The amorphous good ones are going about their business, so that if 3 armed robbers come and shoot, boom, one whole village will run away. Even when they know they can lose 1 or 2, 3 people and still apprehend them, but nobody wants to do that. So the point is that let us take that for granted, that if the people have the right, if the temperature and pressure is
right,
you understand that this thing can happen in 1 or 2 weeks.
But are we taking for granted? Are we taking for granted the importance of having the primaries in the presidential system? As it stands today, there have been complaints that perhaps we're not getting the primaries right. Judging from some of the primaries that we've seen that have
It's the people, my brother. You can see the litigations. It's the people.
I'm sorry, Honorable Naji.
The primaries, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would it suggest that the presidential system can work for Nigeria?
No, they are fundamental issues. Okay? The people are not literate enough to understand the system we run. You need...
Sorry, which people are not literate?
The citizens.
The voters, in this case.
There's a level of literacy you require in a population for them to practice what we practice.
So the question is,
are
we even practicing the presidential system?
That is the point, because the people, the level of literacy level is too low even to develop the economy further than it is today. That's the point.
Now, I want to take you up on what you were saying earlier before we went to Mr. Naji, which is this issue of, okay, no parliamentary system, no presidential system, interim government 6 months, run by the judiciary. After the 6 months, then what?
Then within the 6 months, the new constitution will be there. Within the 6 months, the new government...
Want the new constitution for it to be produced in 6 months? Won't we fall into the same trap that Mr. Naji pointed out earlier, that it is going to be put together by that?
Bring the constitution from
that's
where?
It, from 6 months.
One thing is this: we need to really the present constitution and the legal system. There are few elements. There are other works that have been done, like the 2014
one.
Yes, you know. So you're not okay. Even if you're saying, okay, let us start all over again. We understand the people. We are not going to say, okay, the North, for instance, they have their culture. The point I'm making is, we should not make fundamental mistake again by what is about structure, which is part of the culture of the people. We need to take that into consideration. We can do this in 6 months. Even if it's not 6 months, we can give some, even if it takes us 1 year. But in 6 months, I believe that if we're committed, the thing is having a bigger picture of putting the country first before our selfish interests.
Where do we start this education of putting the country first?
Well, it has to start from, once we get this constitution also right, we begin to have a feeling of belonging. We don't feel that we belong to this country.
So again,
we don't feel.
Okay.
Until you get the people to feel, they have a sense of belonging.
Who's going to do this education? That's a question.
Yes.
Who's going to educate the people to understand who they are, where they belong? Where do we start that education?
It starts from the presidency, for instance, to the politicians, even the family unit.
So we're back again to the politician.
No. Even the family unit, because once you have a sense of belonging as a father, you're allowed to. You create a space. You have a place where you can actually concentrate on a kind of on your personal prosperity and happiness, instead of what we are suffering from.
Let me ask you
is political power struggle.
Hold on. After the interim government,
yes,
what is the name of the kind of system
we will come up with the name? Well, I don't want to give it a name now. I want us to work it, something that will work for us. Then we come back to give it a name.
Homegrown democracy.
Yeah, now we give it a name.
No, that's not.
We can come back to, we can call it any name we want, but it must be something that we work. We start working, and in the process, you get a name for it.
Now, at this juncture now, what we're discussing now, basically at this point, what Mr. Naji referred to as, they are theories. But when they come up against the reality of the Nigerian situation as it stands now, and the Nigerian situation as it stands now is that for you to adjust the system in place now, those who are in position need to agree. How do you get them to agree?
We will sell to them, it's a matter of salesmanship.
Who are the we?
Their interests. No, the government or the people that are proposing this change. We assure them that their interest is also bigger in the new system. Like Machiavelli said in his book, The Prince, that people resist change because of what the people that benefit from the status quo will resist change. And those who will benefit from the new system are too, they don't care. They don't care, the power to struggle for it. So that's the point I'm making.
We're running out of time. We're running out of time now, and we need to ask you. Now, you talked about awareness. I know that Mr. Naji will agree with this, which is that we need to also raise the consciousness of the people about those who rule them, whatever system you eventually come up with. This evening, an opportunity like that is going to come up. What would you ask those listening or watching you now to look out for this evening? The vice presidential candidates of 5 parties have been polled to participate in this debate. In 30 seconds each, what would you ask people to look out for? Starting with you, Mr. Winston.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that you know, a lot of political rhetorics will be thrown up, and you know, and eloquency will come. And the thing is that they should watch out for candidates that will overpromise. We have seen it. You overpromise, you underdeliver. Let them tune in or raise their antenna to listen, to read between the lines, according to sociologists, so that to hear when someone is overpromising, you know, it must be current. We must consider current realities. You know, he said that when you tell the people the truth, the nation is safe. They should listen to who is being realistic about the situation in the country, and not just...
put you on pause there. Mr. Naji.
Well, I think that the most important thing is to, if somebody says he's going to send you to heaven to enjoy, tell him with what transport and when, how. Because the issue is not making promises. The issue is what are the strategies in place to deliver on those promises. And that is the problem. Like ordinarily, there's an adage that said that the fowl says it is very angry with the cock, because every time it will promise it the measure of wrapper that it will buy for it, but whenever it has its way, it will disappear. And that's what politicians do here. They will tell you, we'll build houses, people will be shouting. And just to make the last point on this issue, democracy is in danger in the whole world now. Yes. Because the basis of choosing democracy as a system was based on the level of articulation of individuals that were recipients of that practice. Ignorance is bliss. Today, people are weak in thinking, both leaders and the led. And that is why there is danger. If you say something, instead of people attacking the idea based on a high point of understanding, they attack the person.
At that point, I'm going to have to stop you there. Mr. Chima Naji, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Mr. Austin Weze, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
We'll take a break, and then we'll be back.